Pavan Varma, politician, author, diplomat, who has served in several capitals around the world, including Moscow, London, and right here in New Delhi as spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs. Mr. Varma has been a former member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha. He was with Nitish Kumar's party, the Janata Dal United, from which he was expelled. Then he joined the Trinamool Congress of Mamata Banerjee. He left that as well. But don't go by his extraordinarily innocent demeanor. Mr. Varma has a finger in every political hot potato in this city and across the country. And let me not forget, he's been an author of several books, including Ghalib, which has gone into several reprints, Adi Shankaracharya with Pavan K Varma. So do go out and buy these books, The Great Hindu Civilization and Chanakya's View. So we talk about Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed on this brand new show that I have the privilege to announce called India That is Bharat with Pavan Varma. Now that phrase may sound familiar to you, dear viewer. It is from Article 1 of our Constitution, which says India That is Bharat. So let's roll with Pavan Varma, ladies and gentlemen, on India That is All Things Bharat.
Thank you so much.
AwaazSouthAsia. Now, let me also tell our viewers, मैं दर्शकों को ये भी बताना चाहती हूँ कि विराट कोहली के साथ साथ आपका भी जन्म दिवस था संडे को, इतवार के दिन, तो मुबारक आपको, बहुत बहुत मुबारक, जन्मदिन की बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
विराट कोहली के सामने मेरा क्या अस्तित्व है, बट मुझे खुशी है कि हमारा बर्थडे एक दिन है।
जी, तो अब ये बताइए पवन जी कि इंडिया में और पूरे आज की तारीख में जो पूरी दुनिया में जो हो रहा है, over 9,000 people have been killed in the Israeli bombing of Gaza. And right here in India, we have the election campaign for 5 state elections. तो उसके बारे में मैं election campaign से शुरू करते हैं. What is your view? Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Mizoram, Telangana, 5 states are going to the polls. In your view, how is this going to shape? How do you look at this in the run-up to the great Indian election?
देखिए ज्योति जी, एक बात समझना
जी,
असेंबली इलेक्शंस और पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शंस में अब आम वोटर फर्क अंतर समझने लगा। तो असेंबली में अगर सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी बीजेपी के खिलाफ अगर कोई विपक्षीय पार्टी जीते भी, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन में वो भी जीतेंगे। I mean, that's very clear now. The electorate knows how to vote for the assembly elections where local issues dominate, where the two issues which are particularly the electoral cards of the BJP. One is Hindutva and the other is hyper-nationalism and Labharthis, third one, welfare. All of them, many states have their own welfare policies, local issues dominate, Hindutva is overtaken by regional issues. So in local elections, जो आप नतीजे देखेंगे, जो परिणाम देखेंगे, वो राष्ट्रीय इलेक्शन, पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन में उनका असर कम होता है।
But Pavan ji, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि असेंबली इलेक्शन में जो एक तरीके से जो इंडियन वोटर वोट्स डिफरेंटली इन द असेंबली एंड वोट्स डिफरेंटली इन द लोकसभा इलेक्शन, ये तो हिंदुस्तान के अंदर हमेशा होता रहा है. So what is different this time?
No, I think this time the real difference is that the state elections, the results to my mind are very close. I think BJP may win Rajasthan.
BJP may win Rajasthan?
Yes, that's my view as per the data that I have. I could be wrong.
Okay.
देखिए पॉलिटिक्स में ना किसी को एब्सोल्युटली एक्यूरेट ज्योतिषी का काम नहीं करना चाहिए. लोगों की अपनी मत होती है, इलेक्शन में कुछ और होता है, आप सोचते कुछ और है, पर डेटा, आजकल पॉलिटिक्स में डेटा का बहुत महत्व है. तो डेटा के हिसाब से मुझे लगता है कि बीजेपी राजस्थान में जीती.
अच्छा.
मध्य प्रदेश में टक्कर की फाइट है. शायद कांग्रेस कुछ आगे है, बीजेपी ने बहुत मेकअप किया है और आखिर में अभी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का जो एक ब्लिट्जक्रीग होगा, 20 रैलियां होंगी शायद, तो उससे फर्क पड़ सकता है। छत्तीसगढ़ में जो समझा जाता था कि कांग्रेस बहुत आसानी से जीतेगी और शायद जीते भी, वहां भी अब मुझे लगता है फासला बीजेपी और कांग्रेस में कम होता जा रहा है। तेलंगाना में मेरा अपना अनुमान है कि बीआरएस जीतेगी। तो ये अलग अलग प्रदेश के मेरे विश्लेषण है, पर आज की सबसे बड़ी हकीकत, सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जिसको कहते हैं तथ्य ये है कि विपक्ष में कोई अब नरेंद्र मोदी के विपरीत, they don't have a face, they don't have an organization।
लेकिन फेस की क्या जरूरत है? लेकिन आज की देखिए, इंडिया कोalition तो है जो ऑपोजिशन के पास, और बाय द वे आपके जो पुराने जो आपके कॉलीग हैं नीतीश जी, बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री, वो थोड़ा सा कंप्लेन भी कर रहे हैं हाल ही में कि कांग्रेस को बिल्कुल समय नहीं है, कोई टाइम नहीं है इंडिया के लिए, कोalition के लिए। और कांग्रेस का ये कहना है कि हम अभी इलेक्शन है, ये इस चुनाव में अभी लगे हुए हैं। तो फिर
नहीं, विपक्ष का बहुत बड़ा किरदार है। आखिरकार नरेंद्र मोदी जी को 2014 में, बीजेपी को 2014 और 19 में लगभग 31% और 37% वोट मिला था जी। तो करीब लेकिन से 60% वोट तो उनके पार्टी के हक में नहीं था। अब वो वोट को आप किस तरह से विपक्ष जो है अपनी ओर मोड़ सकता है, इसके लिए प्रयास की जरूरत है।
तो कर रही है प्रयास, क्या विपक्ष कर रही है?
मेरा ये मानना है कि इस समय इससे कमजोर विपक्ष कभी नहीं हुआ। मैं इसलिए
आप तो बीजेपी की भाषा बोल रहे हैं।
नहीं, आप समझ रही है कि मैं बीजेपी की भाषा बोल रहा हूं, पर बीजेपी की स्ट्रेंथ क्या है उसको समझे बगैर अगर बीजेपी की आप कुछ तारीफ भी समझें, तो ये आप ये ना समझे कि मैं इसलिए कर रहा हूं क्योंकि मैं बीजेपी की तरफ बोल रहा हूं, पर या बीजेपी का हकदार हूं। मैं तो एक निष्पक्ष आपको विश्लेषण दे रहा हूं। I am giving you as impartial an evaluation as possible.
Which is that
one, the only pan-Indian party in the opposition, the Congress, has been in secular decline since 1984. They have never ever after that come with an absolute majority. It's always been a coalition, and after 2014, that decline is very, very evident, and it does not seem to be changing. अच्छा, अब जहां तक विपक्षीय एकता की बात है, ऑपोजिशन यूनिटी, मैंने इस तरह से कभी कोशिश नहीं देखी हो जो ऐसी नाकाम लगे। अब जून में हुई मीटिंग पटना में, इंडिया की नया नाम, उसमें आकर्षण था, एक मीटिंग। अगर विपक्ष फोकस्ड होता, सीरियस होता, इसको आगे ले जाना चाहता, तो एक हफ्ते 10 दिन के अंदर एक सेक्रेटेरिएट बनता, एक कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम
जो अभी तक नहीं बना
ना, और एक वर्किंग ग्रुप बनता सीट एडजस्टमेंट के लिए। आपने 4 हफ्ते कुछ नहीं करे, फिर आप बेंगलुरु में मिले, फिर आपने कॉफी पी और खाना खाया, उसके बाद 5 हफ्ते बाद आप मुंबई में मिले, बीच में कुछ नहीं हुआ खास, और उसके बाद भोपाल में मिलना था, वो कैंसिल हो गया। अब चुनाव 5 महीने दूर है, तो फिर आप इस ऐसे विकल्प, अगर आम जनता, आप अपने को वोटर मानिए जी, अगर आम जनता के पास एक तरफ बीजेपी है जिसकी अपनी स्ट्रेंथ से, जिनका समझना जरूरी है, एक फेस, ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल कार्डर, एक मशीनरी, एक और एक नैरेटिव के जो एलिमेंट्स हैं, हिंदुत्व, हाइपर नेशनलिज्म, लाभार्थी या वेलफेयरिज्म, ये उनके पिलर्स हैं और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कार्डर हैं। तो उसके खिलाफ, उसके विपरीत जब आप विपक्ष को देखें, तो एक तो अंदरूनी लड़ाई ऐसी चल रही है, और उनके
विपक्ष के अंदर अंदरूनी लड़ाई चल रही है, किस तरीके से, थोड़ा समझाइए।
मैं इसलिए कहता हूँ कि कई पार्टियां विपक्ष की एक दूसरे से एक ही प्रदेश में लड़ रही हैं। अब अगर
फॉर एग्जांपल, गिव मी एन एग्जांपल अबाउट दिस।
Now, let me give you an example. AAP and Congress.
Aam Aadmi Party.
Aam Aadmi Party.
And Congress.
They are opposed to each other in Punjab. They are opposed to each other in Delhi. In UP, Samajwadi Party and the Congress last time fought the election separately. This time also there is some degree of distrust, but I don't know if it works. But as against the popularity as per data of Yogi Adityanath, the Congress and SP have not yet cemented an alliance which is strong.
And Akhilesh Yadav has been quite critical of the Congress party. But Pavanji, doesn't this remind you of 2004? आपको याद होगा जब India shining था, Bharat was shining. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a very popular prime minister. लेकिन उस वक्त भी opposition was pulling in various different directions.
दो अंतर है ज्योति। एक तो 2004 में Congress was strong, still
stronger than today.
Certainly.
So today you're saying Congress is at it's pretty much at a low ebb.
आपको सीट्स आंकड़े बताते हैं 52 सीट्स।
लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी कर्नाटका तो जीती ही है।
मैं बता रहा हूँ कि असेंबली इलेक्शन में आप जीत सकते हैं, और कर्नाटक में तो बीजेपी सरकार ही इतनी बदतर थी कि कांग्रेस को लोकल लीडरशिप स्ट्रांग थी, वो जीत गए। पर 2004 में अटल जी के पास उस तरह की पूर्ण बहुमत नहीं थी जैसे कि आज बीजेपी के पास है। और दो सक्सेसिव टर्म्स में कांग्रेस वाज स्ट्रॉन्गर, और शायद बीजेपी ने ओवर एस्टिमेट किया कि उस इंडिया शाइनिंग के स्लोगन में जो आज बदनाम है कि आम जनता भी परसुएटेड है उनकी तरफ, पर वो नहीं हुआ। कोएलिशन बना उनके व्यक्ति एक वोट से। आपको याद होगा कि अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी की सरकार एक वोट से मत हारी थी, फिर से लड़े, जीते। अब वो स्थिति नहीं है। पास्ट को दोहराना इसलिए दोहराते हैं कि उससे कुछ सीखे। We learn a lesson from the past.
So why is the Congress party refusing to learn the lessons from the past? Or is it that arrogant about the fact that it believes that the people of India must vote for the Congress party?
You see, I'll tell you honestly, it's not for me to speak on behalf of the Congress, but as
a voter,
as a citizen, as an analyst, as a politician, it's there for me to analyze. You see, the Congress refuses to reinvent itself, not in terms of its rhetoric, but in terms of its grassroots strength and organization.
But why?
I think because it is a party which is, even if Kharge Sahib is president, is run more or less by Mr. Rahul Gandhi and the family and a few people surrounding them who, in my view, have not focused on the restructuring of the party in a qualitatively new manner to make it a strong electoral fighting unit.
So, two questions. There is a coterie around Rahul Gandhi.
Yes.
He is not the president of the Congress party.
But he is the de facto chief.
And what does that do to Mallikarjun Kharge, who is the president?
No, Mallikarjun Kharge brings decades of experience, political experience.
9 times member of parliament.
He is a grassroots leader. He represents one of the most backward and oppressed classes in this country, which is a very large constituency, the Dalits.
Right.
And he's just come back victorious from
Karnataka election.
But where is the time, Jyoti? The time for Mr. Kharge to be able to assert himself and to restructure the Congress is happening too late. I ask you one question.
No, so 1 second.
I ask you one question.
Okay.
No, 1 second. The same attempt at opposition unity, why could it not have started 1 year ago? 1.5 years ago?
Let's come to November 2023. 6-7 months left for the elections. We have 5 assembly elections coming up. You said two things about the Congress. You said that there is a coterie around Rahul Gandhi. Are you saying that they are not letting the Congress revive itself?
I don't believe they are not letting the Congress, under the influence of its de facto leadership, which seems to believe that someday or the other, by default, those who vote for the BJP will be tired and fatigued of the BJP and will vote for the only other pan-Indian party, so long as it is a pan-Indian party, which is the Congress.
So there is an arrogance, continuing arrogance about the Congress party.
Yeah, because they believe that if not today, tomorrow they'll come to us. But it doesn't happen. Politics is dynamic. And you have to keep reinventing yourself by also reassessing the strengths of your opponent. Where do you find that happening? Where is the narrative? As against the BJP narrative. Where is the narrative?
So the Congress party refusing to reinvent itself because of Rahul Gandhi and the coterie around it.
See,
they believe it's like a noblesse oblige कि आपको हमारे पास आना ही आना है कि जब आप बीजेपी के साथ थक जाएंगे तो फिर आप कांग्रेस पार्टी
I really believe, Jyoti, that Rahul ji, whom I know somewhat personally also, is well intentioned. His heart is in the right place. But in politics, you've got to be able to convert that into organizational strength, a narrative, a network, an ability to reach out to other parties, an ability to give and take in order to become the fulcrum of a larger opposition which can capitalize upon the 60% of the voters who didn't vote for the BJP.
So they're not they're not looking at the 60%.
No, I'll give you an example. As I see it as an outsider. In the Lok Sabha, on the one hand, you have the leader of the House, the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. On the other hand, the Congress, for some inexplicable reason, I'm not making a personal comment, has Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary as the leader of the opposition.
लेकिन वो काफी समय से है.
नहीं, that's my whole point. And either Rahul Gandhi should assume the responsibility because he looked upon as.
Sir, ये तो 9 साल पुरानी बात है.
नहीं, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. There are other far more eloquent speakers in Parliament who do their homework, who do their research.
Manish Tiwari, Shashi Tharoor are two.
I don't have to say them. Even Ranjan Gogoi in his own way. So, when you have the Prime Minister make a speech in the Lok Sabha, and you have Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, whose English and Hindi are both not very good.
That's all right. He speaks Bengali, I'm sure, which is one of the languages in the Constitution.
Which is very good. Then he should speak in it. He attempts English and Hindi. And his fluency in both is limited, which I'm
Sir,
not.
India, that is Bharat में बंगाली उसमें पूरी तरह से शामिल है.
देखिए, मैं तो वाइस प्रेसिडेंट रहा हूँ टीएमसी के लिए कुछ अरसे तक ममता जी के निवेदन, फिर मैंने छोड़ा उसके अलग कारण. पर आप समझने की कोशिश कीजिए कि बंगाली की मैं किसी भी मायने में कम सम्मान नहीं कर रहा हूँ. बंगाली एक बहुत ही मैं समझता हूँ रिच लैंग्वेज, उसकी बात नहीं हो रही. मैं कह रहा हूँ आपकी चॉइसेस क्या है
जी.
when you put a person like that. Now I'll give another example.
So several votes at the same time. Rahul Gandhi is in one vote, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary in another vote. तीसरे वाले में कौन है? सोनिया जी. क्या सोनिया जी?
सोनिया जी तो चेयरमैन एमेरिटस है.
लेकिन वो बैक सीट ले रही है.
क्योंकि अब शायद कुछ उनकी सेहत या कुछ उम्र, और फिर she herself has delegated most of the work to her son Rahul Gandhi.
अच्छा, ये चौथे नौके में क्या प्रियंका बैठी है?
Priyanka Gandhi has a role,
but how important
is this? It is not even got the fig leaf of de jure sanction. She's not a member of the Lok Sabha. She is made a national general secretary,
which is a powerful position.
Yeah. On what basis? She hasn't won an election. She's made in charge of the largest state, which is UP. where the Congress's performance has been dismal.
Mhm.
तो आप कई चीजें लीजिए, तो इस समय मैं समझता हूं कि कांग्रेस का डिक्लाइन, ऑपोजिशन में स्ट्रॉन्ग रीजनल फोर्सेस का राइज, इन सब में समन्वय बैठाने का प्रयास बहुत देर से शुरू हुआ, बहुत ही धीमी गति से बढ़ा है, और इसके विपरीत the BJP is an electoral machine. You have to understand that.
सर ये समझ में आ रहा है, लेकिन धीरे धीरे आ रहा है। लेकिन ये बताइए, फिर इसके बावजूद आपने शुरुआत में कहा कि मध्य प्रदेश में कांटे की टक्कर। So if the Congress is in such secular decline, so weak, so divided, then how is it kaante ki takkar in an
I'll tell you why. Because Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the figure at the national level. But in state elections, local issues dominate. And there you have the BJP has been in power for over 15 years. And there is an anti-incumbency, a fatigue factor. Shivraj Singh Chauhan's own popularity is diminished. And most importantly, there is a very old leader, strong leader from Madhya Pradesh who has been given full charge without interference from the High Command, which is Kamal Nath.
Of the Congress party.
Of the Congress party. In the BJP, one of the problems they are facing is, चाहे वो माने ना माने, is the entry of Jyoti Scindia, a good friend of mine, and a very popular politician. पर वो अब उनका बीजेपी में जो एंट्री है, उसने बीजेपी के ही इन इक्वेशंस को एक तरह से डिस्टेबलाइज किया, क्योंकि उनके साथ कांग्रेस के डिफेक्टर्स आए। अब बीजेपी में ये भी सोच है कि भाई पार्टी के लिए सेवा हम लोग करते आए हैं, आज से नहीं दशकों से। अब इस वक्त एक सज्जन कांग्रेस से आ गए और अपने साथ जो सपोर्टर्स लाए उनके लिए टिकट्स भी चाहते हैं, तो आखिर वो टिकट्स किसी और के टिकट्स के कटने के एवज में मिलेंगे। बहुत
इंटरेस्टिंग है। अभी आप कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस डिवाइडेड हाउस है, लेकिन जो इस बात जो ये वाली बात जो आप कर रहे हैं, इसमें तो लग रहा है कि बीजेपी ही डिवाइडेड हाउस है मध्य प्रदेश के अंदर। एक तरफ ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया जो आपके जाने माने बहुत करीबी हैं, दूसरी तरफ शिवराज सिंह चौहान, मामू, जिसे हम सब मामू कहलाते हैं। सो दैट इज टेकिंग ऑन द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द कांग्रेस पार्टी।
बताइए कि मैंने कब कहा कि बीजेपी में एक अनअसेलेबल एकता है। बीजेपी आज यूनाइटेड है जी, एक चेहरे की वजह से, जो चेहरा बीजेपी को जिताता है, और वो है नरेंद्र मोदी।
Okay. So the Indira Gandhiization of the BJP has fully taken.
पर स्थानीय स्तर पर बीजेपी में खींचातानी है। आप राजस्थान में देख सकते हैं, आप मध्य प्रदेश में देख सकते हैं, आप कई और जगह देख सकते हैं, शायद केवल उत्तर प्रदेश में आप नहीं देख सकते।
राजस्थान में क्या हो रहा है?
राजस्थान में मुझे लगता
बीजेपी डिवाइडेड हाउस वाली बात है, उसके बारे में थोड़ा
नहीं। बीजेपी मैं समझता हूँ डिवाइडेड है इसलिए क्योंकि मुख्यमंत्री का तो कोई ऐलान हुआ नहीं है चेहरे का जी। वसुंधरा राजे का अपना एक सपोर्ट ग्रुप है, गजेंद्र सिंह शेखावत का अपना सपोर्ट ग्रुप है, जो उनके जनरल सेक्रेटरी हैं ओम माथुर, उनका अपना है
जो बहुत करीबी माने जाते हैं
प्रधानमंत्री। तो कई उसमें गुट हैं, पर एक चीज फिर समझिए आप बीजेपी और राजस्थान के बारे में, हमारा डेटा ये कहता है कि मोदी जी की पॉपुलैरिटी राजस्थान में गुजरात से बढ़कर, हिज पॉपुलैरिटी इन राजस्थान।
What is this data? Where is it coming from?
We have our data center. I work with Prashant Kishore, and we do a very scientific survey almost on a daily basis in every state.
So this center, this is the IPAC, I imagine that you're talking about.
It's Prashant Kishore's
data.
No, not his, but IPAC's data.
Okay. And according to this data, the BJP is in a strong position in Rajasthan?
I'm not saying strong, but I'm saying BJP appears to be likely to win, and BJP's greatest strength in Rajasthan, in spite of the internal factionalism, is the popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and ultimately in Rajasthan it has been Congress or BJP, BJP or Congress,
Right.
and Mr. Gehlot by now I think has done a lot, no doubt. But there is an advantage to the BJP, and don't forget there was this infighting in the Congress also.
That's
between
right.
Gehlot and Sachin Pilot.
आपके डेटा के अनुसार मध्य प्रदेश में क्या है?
It's a close one.
But who has the edge?
No, you see, in an assembly election, if some party is 1% ahead, it can translate into 20 seats.
So, despite the fact that the BJP has been in power in Madhya Pradesh for 15-16 years, बीच में एक 1.5 साल जो है कांग्रेस पार्टी भी आई थी, 2018 में
हकीकत ये है, 18 साल पहले जो बीजेपी का एमएलए बना, वो स्कूटर चलाता। मैं सबकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ और मैं किसी पर आरोप भी नहीं लगा। 18 साल सत्ता में रहने के बाद उसी स्कूटर चलाने वाले एमएलए, मैं एक जनरल बात कर रहा हूँ, आज 2-3 फॉर्च्यूनर्स खड़ी हैं, 1-2 फार्म हाउसेस हैं, तो उनकी तो प्रगति हुई है,
काफी तरक्की हुई लगता
तरक्की है। मैं एक मिसाल दे रहा हूँ, और ये सिर्फ बीजेपी पार्टी का ही एक मैं प्रमाण नहीं दे रहा हूँ, हर पार्टी में ऐसा होता है। अगर आप ज्यादा देर सत्ता में रहे, इफ यू आर इन पावर फॉर टू लॉन्ग, दिस इज द कॉन्सिक्वेंस ऑफ इट। पर उनकी लोकप्रियता अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में घटती जाती है, क्योंकि लोगों की उम्मीदें उनकी कैपेसिटी टू डिलीवर करने से या उनकी एनर्जी, ऊर्जा जो शुरू की थी वो बाद में कम शायद हो जाती है। तो इस तरह का मिसमैच हर पार्टी में होता है, और आज मध्य प्रदेश में भी है।
अच्छा, राजस्थान का बहुत आपने दिलचस्प बात अभी कही कि ये जो फैक्शन फाइटिंग हो रहा है राजस्थान के अंदर, उसमें एक वसुंधरा राजे जी का जो फैक्शन, she has been a very strong and very powerful chief minister of Rajasthan, of course with the BJP, a big leader of the BJP. Why is it that she is not being made the face of the BJP in Rajasthan?
I think that very often the BJP has adopted the strategy, I'm not commenting on its merits, of not declaring the chief minister. And
but there seems to be some angst about Vasundhara Raje.
No,
उनकी जो candidates हैं, उनका पत्ता जो है,
I believe that the popular rumor or the belief is, whether verified or not, that Vasundhara Raje is not the most liked person by either Narendra Modi or Amit Shah. This is, I'm telling you what popular rumor is.
A Delhi rumor, a Lutyens city rumor, a Delhi का जो है,
आप जो कह लीजिए उसको, आप राजस्थान में किसी से बात कर लीजिए,
तो फिर
नहीं, वसुंधरा जी की पॉपुलैरिटी ऐसी है कि
कोई
उनको आप अलग नहीं कर सकते। ये भी सच है, वसुंधरा जी has a support base of 15-20,000 people in every constituency.
That is incredible.
And the BJP knows this. But the BJP wants to keep its options open to decide who will then become the chief minister.
लेकिन पवन जी ये समझ नहीं आ रहा, on the one hand they want to win Rajasthan, ऐसा भी नहीं है कि every political party wants. तो अगर वसुंधरा जी इतना पॉपुलर है, is it, do you think, अच्छा मैं आपसे पूछती हूँ, क्या आपको लगता है या आपकी समझ में, is there an anti-women aspect?
No, I don't think
क्योंकि
so.
वो महिला है.
Yes, there is an anti-women, or let us say a male-dominant approach in Indian politics, cutting across the board.
Congress party, Bharatiya Janata party, Samajwadi party, Trinamool Congress is headed by a woman.
I'm not saying that in every party. I'm giving you a
so
trend.
Still very patriarchal.
Why I say that is because India has traditionally been a male-dominant society. Otherwise, we would not have waited for decades for the women's reservation bill to have finally come to a form where it has been postponed again, but at least something has come in the Lok Sabha. Some people call it a post-dated check on a bankrupt promise. But whatever it is there. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think it's anti-Vasundhara. I don't think it's anti-women. Mm-hmm. But the BJP, I can't speak for the BJP, and please, I can't speak for the Congress. I am just an independent analyst who is very much in the business of politics. They want the option to choose the chief minister after the results, but they also know, it seems to me, on the basis of surveys they have carried out, that they cannot ignore us.
So, Kante ki takkar in Rajasthan,
Kante ki takkar, I'm not saying it. I think in Rajasthan, and I can be wrong, and I will admit my culpability, it seems the BJP is winning.
Is ahead. Oh, is winning. Okay. Kante ki takkar, Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah, it's close.
Chhatisgarh.
Congress has the edge, but the gap is narrowing.
Okay. So we have a full. Some of these states are already going to the polls, but we have a full month before results are out, of course. But let me draw your attention to the world around us, and you've been a diplomat for several decades. What is going on in Israel, Palestine, the war, in that more than 9,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza?
I can sum it up. First of all, I condemn Hamas's terrorism. I condemn all terror. I condemn the brutality, the barbarism with which Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. That needs universal condemnation. At the same time, I'm not trying to balance this. That condemnation is unequivocal.
Right.
At the same time, I believe that as the 1967 UN resolution said after the end of the Six-Day War, when Israel had occupied the West Bank, Gaza, the Sinai Peninsula, and the Golan Heights,
right,
the UN passed a resolution which said that the only answer is a just and enduring peace where two nations are allowed to exist.
The two-state solution.
Two-state solution. And one of the conditions that they had put in that was that Israel withdraw from the territories it had occupied.
Right.
Israel's withdrawal reminds me of a couplet of Dal. खूब पर्दा है कि चिलमन से लगे बैठे हैं, साफ छुपते भी नहीं, सामने आते भी. They have withdrawn and they have not withdrawn. They have restored some autonomy but not complete independence. So it remains an unresolved problem of history. And somewhere there is unfairness to both sides. I mean, the Holocaust happens in Europe. 6 million Jews are massacred in Europe by Germany, in Poland.
Okay.
You create Israel out of your imperial whim at the end of the First World War in the heart of what was traditional Palestine territory, although Israel has a rightful claim as the promised land to the same place.
Yeah.
But then Israel has an advantage with the Palestinians' land. That is the unequivocal backing of the United States. And why is that?
So why is that? Why is today, even after 9,000 people have been killed in this conflict,
and because,
the Americans are backing Israel?
Because there are 8 million Jews who are American and live in America. Mm-hmm. And they are powerful. As legend goes, they run New York City. No US president. And America is never far away from elections, presidential elections.
And they are now going into elections again.
They are going into elections again. You cannot ignore the Jewish lobby. Having said all of this, I think Israel had a right for retribution,
for retribution, retaliation, but this looks like revenge.
But again, I'm reminded of a couplet of Ghalib. हद चाहिए सजा में अकूबत के वास्ते. Akubat means for etiquette. हद चाहिए सजा में अकूबत के वास्ते. आखिर गुनाहगार हूं काफिर नहीं. I mean, look at the extent of
the devastation.
And the world is watching. The world is watching because there is a unilateralism today in the global state of affairs. And the United States can, on a suspicion, enter Iraq and 60,000 people can die. But the United States can lecture the rest of the world. And I am an admirer of the United States and its freedoms and its democracy. But it lectures other people if they infringe unilaterally, as NATO and America does repeatedly, whether it's Iraq, whether it's Afghanistan, whether it's Serbia.
So does this make the Americans much more powerless today? They cannot even tell the Israelis कि एक humanitarian pause ही करो ताकि Rafah crossing
They may have tried. They may have tried. Biden went there. Blinken went there.
Blinken has been 3 times.
But remember, Israel today is ruled by an extremely fragile, unstable, ultra-right-wing coalition. And having let their guard down, the famous reputation of Israeli security defenses.
That's right.
Now Netanyahu, in order to prove his credentials, is removing all full stops from the retaliation.
So let me bring you to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You remember you condemned the massacre of the Israelis by Hamas on the 7th of October. Within a few hours, Prime Minister Modi's office, under his own handle, the Narendra Modi or the PMO handle, had tweeted that India stands in solidarity with Israel.
Yes.
And then it took your Ministry of External Affairs, your former ministry, took them 5 days to issue a statement of whether it was support or conciliation, and talked about the blowback that the people of Gaza were suffering. So where was the balance? There was no balance at all.
Jyoti, every country acts in national self-interest, and I believe it was right to condemn terrorism in all its forms. And Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Absolutely.
But the initial support of solidarity with Israel, according to many people, could have been nuanced a little faster with this very important line: just an enduring peace.
So why did it not say that? Why did your ministry not say those words?
They did say it.
5 days later. It took them 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days later, because initially there was the world was shaken by the brutality and barbarism of the Hamas attack, and we stand for terrorism, any terrorism anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
However, later we have great strategic interests in the Middle East also. Most of our oil comes from there. Our gas comes from there. We have a huge NRI diaspora. We have good relations with many of the countries which have improved recently. So you cannot take a side for any major power which seems to be unidimensional. So we try to balance that.
Right.
And in that sense, I think perhaps I cannot be overly critical of that policy because, again, with Israel, especially with this government, there are very important strategic interests in defense, in intelligence, in high-tech equipment, including issues like Pegasus, which helps them to keep a watch on people.
By opposition politicians like yourself.
I don't know.
You're not in the opposition, but you are a politician. And on this note, Pavanji, so your reaction to Prime Minister Modi's tweet, you don't think that he jumped the gun?
I believe the first reaction across the world was one of horror.
Right.
And he expressed it. And I think it's in our national interest. I see, I'm not becoming a voice of Mr. Modi, but to condemn, for India especially, we live in the most troubled region of the world. To condemn terrorism of all forms is an imperative.
Okay.
And later, we hope that the world does not stand by silently watching, and India has no role to play in an immediate ceasefire, allowing for humanitarian aid to reach Palestine. And the last thing I want to tell you is,
Yes.
wars happen, Jyoti, because there are unfinished architectures of security, incomplete projects. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of the Cold War, Europe has not yet finished its new architecture of security,
Okay.
which has led to many lines getting blurred and NATO expanding beyond what its assurances to Russia was.
Right.
And the consequence is the Russia Ukraine war. This perhaps much older, unfinished, incomplete project is the Middle East project with Israel.
Right.
If you don't solve it on an enduring and just peace, there will be another Hamas and there will be another.
Well, God forbid that this war expands from Palestine and Israel. But on the one hand, there is the unfinished architecture of security in Europe, and on the other hand, the unfinished politics of India inside India.
I hope they never finish. Democracy should go on.
Absolutely. Democracy shall always win. But thank you so much, Pavanji, for your time on India, that is Bharat. I'm Jyoti Malhotra for AwaazSouthAsia.